Right now on Up with KREM, today tickets will go on sale for the Spokane Indians baseball season, how you can get your hands on some of those. And this morning we'll be joined by the senior vice president of the team to talk about opening day.
Sun's up and it is shining. We've got a chilly start to the day. I'm going to let you know what it feels like now and what temperatures are going to do later on this afternoon.
Why let them exit to the streets or to, a job that's not going to go anywhere when we can provide resources now when we know it's easier?
The new legislation helping students in the foster care system flourish. We're going to tell you about that next. And an Oregon mom shares a goal for more kindness. Her signs of hope sparked a worldwide movement.
And I thought, oh my gosh, they are actually helping people.
She shares her story about what started out as a simple message on a yard sign that now have reached across the world.
Up with KREM begins now.
Wow, taking a live look outside this morning, the sun is up and
gorgeous.
Temperatures are still a little cold, but it'll rise. Jeremy Legou will be standing by here in just a sec to give you your Tuesday forecast. But first, today, SPS will hold a public forum to discuss changing the mascot at North Central High School.
That's right. So this comes after the Washington legislature approved a measure to ban the use of Native American names, symbols, images as school mascots, logos, and team names in most public schools in the state. So the ban will take effect starting next year. So that's why this conversation is being had on social media, and we want to bring it to you on Up with KREM. Do you think Washington schools with Native American figures should be required to change their mascots? You can vote right now. It's 56% of you are saying no this morning. That percentage actually just switched from yes to no. We've also gotten a lot of great lengthy responses of your reasoning. Here we're going to show you them right now. Some people are saying, I don't think schools should change their name. We're surrounded by many tribal cultures. Others are saying that it should be a conversation had with tribal communities around us. So again, an opportunity to let your voice be heard this morning. And good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Dana Marie McNichol.
And I'm Tim Pham. So glad to have you here with us on a Tuesday morning. Let's get right to it. This morning, Nicole Hernandez joins us live from North Central High School. Nicole, what can you tell us about tonight's meeting?
Yeah, Tim, Dana Marie. So the Spokane Public School Board is actually asking for feedback from community members about the North Central High School mascot. So during a meeting back in March, the district's board actually talked about some potential changes for the mascot and the accompanying symbol. The school has had an Indian as its mascot since the 1920s, but many people are now saying the imagery is offensive and inappropriate. KREM 2 spoke with a student at North Central who told us why now is exactly the time for a change.
I say that it makes it extremely difficult to validate my own identity when I'm constantly being shown images of what I should look like or how I should act. And it's really just this dehumanizing image that casts aside the struggles of Indigenous people today. Yes, I think a lot of people like to rely on this fact that, or on this idea that mascots honor Indigenous people, and I can tell you that I don't feel honored.
Now again, that public forum is happening tonight. It's scheduled for 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. and that meeting is happening over Zoom. You can visit the Spokane Public School website to register for that, get the link for that Zoom meeting. You can also submit public comment on that website. If you're interested for a link there to get to all that information, you can send the word forum to 509-448-2000. Just text us that, we'll send you a link right back. Live in Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Nicole, thanks so much for that update. Let's get to Jeremy Legou now. Let's talk weather. Jeremy, is it warming up at all? You didn't put on your outer coat this hour.
So here's how this goes. If I went outer coatless early on this morning, yeah, that's the best I could come up with. I'd do my best. I kind of had to keep it going so I could tell you whether or not it had gotten warmer. If I came out here with a coat on, I would have just been like, yeah, it's much warmer. If I'm in the sun, it feels warmer. If I step right here and get out of the sunshine, it feels a little bit cooler. And you can see behind me, notice the leaves on the trees kind of blowing around. It is a bit breezy early on this morning. We got winds out of the south at about 11 miles per hour. And if I catch one of those wind gusts, Yeah, it feels pretty chilly out here. Temperatures at 37 here in Spokane, 41 over in Coeur d'Alene, and 34 up in Sandpoint. You're in the mid-40s out in central Washington, and thankfully I'm not out here for long because as that wind picks up, I go, whew. All right, throughout the day, the wind is going to pick up. We'll see those gusts top out in the upper teens, close to 20 miles per hour later on this evening, so do expect a breezy day today. It's wind out of the south, so it is going to feel a bit warmer. And as we move through the day, expect a lot of sunshine. We'll see a few more clouds build through the second half of the day before we get even cloudier through the middle part of the week. But temperatures are on the rise. Yesterday, we topped out just shy of 60 degrees. Today, we're in the mid-60s with the mix of clouds and sun later on this afternoon.
All right, Jeremy, thanks so much. It's time for your morning rush. More news in less time.
A local volleyball coach is under federal investigation for possible inappropriate sexual conduct with children. Now, investigators say 59-year-old Sergio Donzetti, who's currently in federal custody, is a fugitive from Brazil with a prior conviction for child rape. Special agents with Homeland Security are looking into the possibility that he has victims here in the U.S. He worked for many local volleyball teams and also the Extreme Volleyball Club, LLC. Anyone with information regarding Donzetti is encouraged to call the number on your screen.
Well, the Salvation Army of Spokane has a lot of food donations and it needs to get them into the hands of local families in need. If they're looking for volunteers to help distribute food to families that need it. Now, families that are in need of food will receive several weeks of groceries from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on weekdays. It'll be a first come, first served basis. The Salvation Army's goal is to help local families save their money for utilities or rent. To volunteer, visit makingspokanebetter.org.
Yesterday, a bill that aimed at preventing a social justice curriculum in Idaho public schools passed in the Senate. During the Senate debate, students of all ages gathered outside the Capitol building in hopes of having their voices heard. The rally was put on by the Idaho Asian American Pacific Islander Youth Alliance. Our sister station in Boise spoke to some of the students.
This bill will eliminate academic freedom under the name of indoctrination that does not even exist. As students, this greatly affects us because we will no longer be taught the true history of our country under the idea that it's too offensive for some people to handle. The history of our country may not be the most beautiful, but it's crucial for us to learn about it so we can learn from our mistakes that were made in the past and move forward.
The Senate Education Committee yesterday had a debate on the House Bill of 377. Had a lot of the members asking not only what critical race theory is, but where it's present in schools. There were no specific examples or pieces of evidence provided. Now the bill heads to Governor Little's desk.
Well, the Gonzaga baseball team debuted at 21 in the D1Baseball.com rankings this week. It's their first time being ranked in any poll since 2017. If they keep on this streak, they could have a shot at getting a bid to the NCAA tournament, regardless of winning a WCC regular championship.
It's kind of been a goal of ours, just in the back of our heads, I guess, a little bit. To be ranked obviously doesn't change anything really. It's just a little bit of recognition.
Now, they're working at making their first appearance in the College World Series. Gonzaga plays WSU tonight at 6 and have a lot of big games ahead of them. On Monday, they play top 10 ranked Oregon right here in Spokane, and we'll be covering them along the way right here on KREM 2. And that's your morning rush. More news in less time. Let us know what's happening in your neighborhood by using the hashtag #UpWithKREM on social media.
Well, coming up after the break, an Oregon mom wants to make sure we all know how much we matter.
Empathy says, I don't have to endorse, I don't even have to agree with what you're saying, but if I were you, believing those things.
After the break, how simple yard signs turned into a movement.
And we love living here in the inland Northwest, and other people are starting to catch on to just how great it is. In our next half hour, we're looking at what new census numbers have to say about our growing region.
And temperatures are on the rise today. We're in the mid-60s, but later on this week, we're talking the warmest days of 2021 so far. I'll have the details after the break.